You know, you guys know a dude by the name of Nostradamus? Well, there was a guy that came on my program a couple weeks ago, and he goes, "Look, as good as Embiid is, he was like this. The guy in Denver is unbelievable. 30-point triple double last night, and I made this comment on a national show earlier today, and I said this: if Joker wins on Monday night the NBA championship, he's got to be considered one of the top 10 pivot men in history. I mean, you go like this. I would say again, Kareem, Shaq, Wilt. I would say Russell, 6'9". Okay, if you want to, it's generational, like my friend Rick Barry says. It's generational. I think Joker's better than Robinson, and I think he's better than Ewing. Let's get a bird's eye view of that from our Hall of Famer, Rick Barry. I'm off base here. What I'm watching with this guy, it doesn't look, Rick, that Joker could jump over a stack of quarters. Yet I look up, he's 30, 20, and 10. And I'm like, what is that?
He's very special. I don't think there's, well, again, I call people who play their position differently than other people have. Steph Curry being one of them. Charles Barkley is a power forward. Magic Johnson is a point guard. I mean, there are a number of guys. Michael, when he came in as the 2, nobody played like that. There's never been a center that's played the game the way the Joker plays the game. He's an anomaly, and no question about it. He's a very special individual. He has an incredible feel for the game. It's almost as if I don't know how he would say it, but it's almost as if it happens in slow motion for him. He just kind of sees everything. He takes his time. And my wife and I were talking yesterday. We were watching the game. And occasionally he's got a quick first step. You know, he's not super fast. He's not super athletic. I could say he can't jump, too high. But what talent and skills he has, he uses them he maximizes them. I mean, the guy's just so much fun to watch. He really is. I mean, another example in the game last night. Very interesting game. I think that they came out and wanted to prove something, especially Murray, who had a bad game in game number 2. But if the Jokic and Murray play anywhere near the level they played yesterday, there's no chance for Miami to do it. Miami's 2 best players had really good games, right? Adebayo.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, and they, and Butler, but the other people didn't do very much. And here's the conversely, the other Nugget starters who can do some stuff really didn't do much. They got 11 out of Gordon, but they didn't get much. They got 2 points out of Porter Jr. I mean, so what happens if they play well?
I mean, they're going to play. I think Friday night.
Miami is the best. Miami is done great to get to where they are with all of the problems they have with injuries and things, and congratulations to them. But Denver's a better basketball team. And if they both play their best game, Denver's going to win. And it's just the way it is.
Rick, do you think this is the order currently in the NBA right now? It's Joker, Embiid, and then Giannis? Or would you put Giannis too?
It's interesting depending upon what you need. I mean, they're both interesting players. I would say that's tough. It's Joker and then the other 2 guys, pick them. I mean, I wouldn't want to pick one over the other. Athletically, and Giannis. Okay, I mean, seriously, the guy is crazy. Like what they call him, the Greek freak. I mean, I don't think that's a nice name to call somebody. He's not a freak. He's a freak in nature, but the guy's incredible. The athleticism that he has, far, far superior athleticism to Embiid and Joker. I mean, no question about it. So if you're hung up on athleticism, like a lot of people get to be, but I would say that you might give it to Embiid because I think Embiid is a better shooter.
Let me throw this at you here. You played in both leagues, and I wonder if you have any kind of feeling towards the Nuggets ABA team. One of the teams, they've never gone to the finals. Here they are here. Does that stuff ever cross your mind? I mean, Rick, you were an MVP in both leagues. You dominated in both leagues. The ABA was, in my opinion, just as good as the NBA. And you were an MVP in both. You won championships.
Well, I wasn't an MVP in both. But the thing is that they were in comparable leagues. The NBA was had more superior teams. But the ABA had a lot of great players. I think the first year that after they had merged, a significant number of all-star players that next season were ABA players. And so I got into a thing years and years ago. I always remember with Marv Albert, the Knicks broadcaster, and he was knocking them and putting the team down. I said, look, they may not have as many really outstanding teams as they do in the NBA, but they have got a lot of great talent that's been given the opportunity to play and let people see what they were capable of doing. So for that, I was grateful to see that happen. So, and again, it was a great opportunity for guys that never would have had a chance because you didn't have many teams. When I came in, I think there were 9 NBA teams is all. 9 and 10-man rosters. I mean, so you had 90 guys. That was it.
God, that ABA though, man, was so.
It was fun. No, it's fun to watch. Up in tempo. It was more of a guard-oriented thing, wing player. But hey, the NBA's turned into that now because they got the 7-footers out playing, shooting 3-point shots. So what's happened is the ABA has made a resurrection. They come back from the dead, and now 7-footers are playing ABA-style basketball.
I mean, really, if you put the red, white, and blue ball in the game, you would see the ABA right now in the current NBA. I want to ask you a question about James Harden here because he's a big topic in Philadelphia right now. Do you really see a big market for him right now? I mean, I
wouldn't give him a long-term big money contract. No, he's too far at the end of his career for that. So no, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I would use that money to go and get somebody else who might be younger, this perhaps a unrestricted free agent or something of that nature, and just do a good job of drafting. And I wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't. It's the same thing. Much as I love Thompson, I don't know. You give him a really long-term, big money contract. As much as I love him, would love to see him stay on the Warriors. From an economic standpoint and a fiscal standpoint, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense for the Warriors to do that. And as I say, I've always been such a big fan of his, and he's going to get a ton of money if he does leave and go somewhere. Somebody's going to pay him a lot. Now, whether he can get a lot for a long term, I don't know. But that's a question that only a player can answer. Obviously, Clay has enough money to last multiple lifetimes, okay, and his family or could be well taken care of unless he does something super, super foolish, which I don't think he will because he's a bright guy. Do you want to be on more championships teams? To me, that's what it comes down to. It's not about stats. It's not about money. I mean, you play to win. I mean, even today's day, I got a goal for next year. I'm trying to be an 80-year-old freaking pickleball player to win the triple-double in my age and skill category. I'm going to play singles for the first time, singles, men's doubles, mixed doubles. In fact, if anybody's out there knows anybody that's 80 years old, a woman who can play 4 or 5, get back to Dan and let him know. So I need a partner for next year for the 3 major tournaments.
Hey, Rick, let me ask you if you're Joel Embiid here. I saw a press conference today and they got Josh Harris and all those guys. And they bullshitted the fans for about 8 years about the process, and this thing has gone nowhere, and it's continued to have been a train wreck the entire time. How long do you give the 76ers before you're Joel Embiid, before you do this and you pull a Shaq? Hey, look, man, I got to go to an organization that wants to win championships, not sit there and start talking to me about process. I mean, now athletes today, Rick, are mobile. They don't have to sit there and die on the vine if the organization's not doing anything. I mean, if you're Embiid, how many more years do you give this process, so to speak, before you start saying, I want out?
Well, let me stick up for Philadelphia. I mean, they tried. They tried to get some people. They brought Harden in. They tried to see if they can do something with, and I'm going to draw a blank on his name, from the Brooklyn Nets. Just one of those senior moments. Who can't shoot the free throws and stuff. I can't believe that I'm not getting his name popping at the top of my head right now. Ben Simmons, yeah. Because I remember watching Ben when he played. My son Canyon played against him, and when Ben was at LSU, they played against each other when my son was at the College of Charleston. But I would have loved to have gotten my hands on Ben Simmons. Oh my God! I mean, you talk about a talent that could have been so much greater than what he was. I mean, you can learn how to shoot.
Ben, Rick, what do you think happened to him? What fell off the planet for him? Okay,
it was mental. It was mental.
What does that mean, though, when you say that? Because I believe more in player accountability. That's a him thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, some people have some issues with it, but I mean, if somebody had taught him earlier on about also it is fundamental. He was fundamentally unsound with his shot, and somebody had taught him to do that, and he had gained some confidence in it. God, there's no telling what he would have done. I mean, look at the size of him. I mean, he was a bigger, Magic Johnson type, but the thing is, Magic, at least you'll learn to be able to shoot the 3 and, score some points. And he just got to the point where, hell, he didn't even want to shoot, especially he didn't want to get fouled.
Is it coaching, Rick?
I think sometimes it's a coaching. I mean, I think in Cleveland was the case. I mean, you get LeBron James, one of the greatest talents the game has ever seen. He goes to them, and he's there for years, and nobody corrected his shot. He had a horrible shot. He had horrible shooting form. I mean, I did it because I remember when the first time they played the Warriors in the finals, and I said, it's taking you guys 2.5 years. I've been talking about this for 2.5 years, and now you're finally coming back to me asking me, well, what do you think? Are you blaming the coaching staff? As hell, yes, I'm blaming the coaching staff. You got one of the greatest talents in the world. And he has horrible shooting form, and you're not out there working with him to correct it. I mean, can you imagine? Can you just imagine if LeBron James was a 40% three-point shooter and an 80-something% free throw shooter?
He'd have broke that record 4 years ago.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, I mean, it is. It comes down to that. And then the same thing with Philadelphia. It all comes down to what I told you in team sports. Who do you choose as your personnel? You got to get people who have a feel for my whole thing. Number one, feel for the game. Can't be taught. If a player doesn't have a feel for the game, I don't care how athletic and stuff he is. I know he's never going to be as good as a guy that has a feel for the game. He may be more athletic, but the other guy's going to play better and do more things for you. Number one. Then when he's got that, then you go, and if he has a shortcoming shooting, hey, you work on his shooting, you make him a better shooter, you show him the little nuances of the game. And then the biggest thing then when you're scouting and everything is what's right in here. What's in here? What's in his heart? What kind of person is he? Is he unselfish? Does he care more about the team than he does about himself? You do that and you put that kind of personnel together. That's why you can be successful. And you hope you get a coach that doesn't screw it up and have a coach to put in a system that caters to his players' skills, not a coach with a system that forces the players to play his system.
Rick, do you think that there's a market for Kyrie Irving? He's eligible now for a 4-year, $220 million deal.
Not a chance.
Would you invest in him?
Not a chance.
Why?
Great talent, great talent. Well, how many places has he got to go? I mean, he was in Cleveland. He had a chance to stay with LeBron James. That wasn't good.
Is this again
enough.
here, Rick? Rick, is this again here?
Well, no, I think he's a very intelligent guy. I just don't know what the situation is with him, but wherever he seems to go, disaster seems to follow along. I mean, he had the success with LeBron. That's why I couldn't understand. Why do you want to break that up? I mean, Shaq and Kobe, same thing. Why would you break that up? I mean, Kevin Garnett. I mean, not Kevin Garnett, but Kevin Durant. Why would he want to leave the Warriors? I mean, you would have had one of the greatest teams in the history of the game. I mean, I just don't understand what goes through the minds of these guys. I guess a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're more concerned about themselves than they are about the success of the team. And that's why I say when you do your research, find the guys that care more about the success of the team. I mean, the money now is so obscene that shouldn't even be a factor. You get 1 5-year contract like that. I mean, come on, that's $250 million or more. Who the hell is going to spend $250 million in a lifetime unless you're crazy? I mean, seriously, it just breaks my heart when I see that stuff. And that's why I love guys like the Joker and Steph Curry and the way they go out and play. And there's so many of them, CP3, and the guys that have the right attitude, who have the great feel for the game and care more about winning than anything else.
2 last questions for you. John Morant, I haven't asked you yet about this. What's your take on him and what the league is going through right now? Again, it's conduct. You and me had places in our contract that said conduct detrimental to the team and league. And so the NFL, in my case, could always come down on you because it was so vague that if anything they thought was going to hurt the reputation of the Shield, they could suspend you. What's your take on John Morant, Rick?
John, get rid of the guys you're hanging around with. They're not your friends. A good friend is never going to let you pull out a gun and let you get videoed with a gun in your freaking hand. These guys are idiots.
Rick, you're talking too simple and too
no. And that's the bottom line.
Common sense.
Everybody is a product of their environment.
They
the
are.
Critical element for these young people, all these guys with the friends. If a guy is asking you or to go out and do things that you know in your heart, in your mind, are not the best things, or not legal things, are not the best things image-wise, he's not your friend. If he was a friend, they said, John, what the hell are you doing? Put that thing away. I mean, and after the first incident that took place, they said all over his butt, never allowed him to do that. It's the same thing if you've got a friend. I've got a friend that I really, really care about, and he's an alcoholic, works on it all the time. I mean, if I'm around him, there's not a chance I'd let him put 1 drop of alcohol to his lips. That's never going to happen. Okay. And yet there are people around who do stuff who will drink in front of him. What the hell? I mean, if you're a friend, you protect your friends. His friends are not protecting him. He needs to get rid of these people, and it's going to cost him millions of dollars because they're going to come down hard on him because he obviously didn't learn his lesson the first time. So he's getting strike. Now, this is strike number 2 against him. And if he screws around after this, I mean, they're liable to just dismiss him. And what a shame, because he's such a talent and he's so much fun to watch. He's one of the guys that is worth the price of admission, because during the course of a game, he's probably going to do something that'll go, oh my God, did he just do that? I feel so sad, because I just love to see greatness, and to see him frittering it away. I'm using the better word, frittering it away. It just breaks my heart to see that, because I love the game of basketball and I want to see it be as good and as entertaining as it could possibly be.
Absolutely. Finally, Rick, the series over?
Should be. I mean, but hey, anything can happen. That's why I say you got to play the games. But for Miami to have any chance at all, they obviously have to win this next game, because then it's a 3-game series with the home court now back in favor of Denver. But if they lose this game, I mean, 3-1 is very difficult. It's not happened hardly at all. 3-0 Boston almost pulled it off, but they didn't. And just think about it. If they don't win, they're down now 3-1 going back. They have to win again on Denver's home court, which is difficult to do. Then you got to come home and take care of business at home. Then you have to go back and beat them again. You have to beat them 3 times in their home court. That's not going to happen.
It's not. Rick, tell the folks where they can find you, and obviously too, part of the big 3. I can't wait for that. Cube's got that league going, and really excited about it.
Well, I'm excited because I think I have players in the team that I actually can be competitive and hopefully get into the playoffs this year. So I'm excited and looking forward to that, starting in Chicago on the 25th of June. So check that out if you want. And then if you go to Rick24 Barry, I'm on the social media stuff. But the big thing is medicilleaf.com, MEDICILEAF.com. Okay. ALOEMD, ALOEMD.com, and GoSleeves.com, GOSLEEVES. Check all of those out. Just research it yourself. I use those products every day. I live with them. There's no question. 2 of them are cannabinoid-based products that don't have THC in it. The other one's great sleeves with kinesio tape built into them for your calves and Achilles and knees and elbows. Check them out and put RB24, my initials, RB, small RB24, in all of them, and you'll get a really great discount. And all I can say is I hope they work for you as well as they work for me. But I just, I love these products. Absolutely great. And I've got some more. I'm coming up with some new stuff even. I mean, I try to be healthy. I'm going to be 100 years old and be able to fly fish and play pickleball. And I've got some other stuff now that I've been using for years that I haven't talked about, that next time I'll tell the folks about it. So if you want to do stuff to keep you healthy from the inside out, this is, I'm getting into a couple of more products. Just I always look into anything that can help me enjoy life, stay as young as possible at my age, and to stay healthy.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it, my friend. We'll see what happens on Friday night. Thank you very much, Rick.
It was a pleasure.
You bet. Rick Barry, our good friend, telling us how it is in the NBA. And